Do you see what I see? All of that orange. I don't know if you can make it out up there, but right up here is another big patch. Those are chanterelles and are delicious. Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. If you're new here, my name is Michelle and this is my channel, Halfway Homestead. And if you are just joining us, welcome. I'm glad you're here. So I have been picking chanterelle mushrooms, and I will put out here first, I am not a mushroom expert. I know what morels look like and I know what chanterelles look like. And those are the only two that I will go out and hunt, although I can never find morels. And the only two that I feel comfortable foraging and cooking. And so please do not take this as go out and pick every mushroom, because this is how you can cook it. This is what I'm comfortable with, and I wanted to share it with you. Seems to be a really good year for chanterelles. So I want to show you what one looks like. So this, they're wet because I've got them soaking. This is a chanterelle mushroom. Okay, this is a pretty good size one. Here's a smaller one, and I'll show you this bowl in just a second. This is the third bucket that I've picked in a week. And so I use this 2.5 gallon bucket, and it was overflowing, and I had to walk away from the hundreds that are in the woods because my bucket was full. So I'm going to get these processed, and then I'll probably go back out later and get some more. There are 4 different ways I like to use the chanterelle mushrooms. One way is just to batter it like you would a morel and deep fry it. They are delicious. I deep fry them whole. And so when I'm deep frying, I do pick out these smaller ones. And we had them last night or 2 nights ago for supper. They're fabulous. Another way is I make a garlic cream sauce. And if I get the chance, I will show you that process in this video. This video might take a few days so that I can get all of those different ways of cooking in to show you. Another way that I like is just saute it in butter and garlic. Tonight for supper, I'm going to make a white chicken pizza. And so I like to put a little bit of bacon on my chicken pizza. And what I will do is some of these smaller mushrooms, I'm just going to chop, and I will fry them up with the bacon that I'll be frying up. And I'll put that on my pizza. Today, I am going to be loading my dehydrator with chanterelle mushrooms. And so I will have chanterelle mushrooms to use all winter. Last year, I did not find any chanterelle mushrooms. Maybe I wasn't looking at the right time. I don't know, but completely none. And then the year before was a really good year like I'm having this year. And I still have some of those dehydrated. I have used them very sparingly because I didn't want to run out. And I'm glad because of last year not having any. And this year, I'll probably be able to do another couple years worth. I have also shared probably a bucket full with my neighbor and my son and his girlfriend and my mom. And I've got some more sharing to do. So I'm going to bring you down closer so you can see the bowl of mushrooms. Get you turned around here. And there they are. So the first thing I like to do, try to get you down lower. Okay, first, excuse me. First thing I like to do is I bring them in And I don't soak them for a long time, but I do cover them with water, and I put in quite a bit of salt, just because if there's any creepy crawlies in there, I want to be able to soak them out. And then also you can tell by, like here where I have picked the mushroom, that's a leaf on there. They've got dirty butts. Okay, and so what I'll do is I'll just take that off. Okay, and then this one, it needs a little more cleaning. So I'll go through and I'll just take the tip of my knife and I just kind of scrape it just to get all that dirt off. Any grass that's on here, any leaves. I check the inside to see if there's anything in there. And then this goes onto my dehydrator tray. Now that mushroom is pretty big, so I'm actually going to break it apart. Oh, there's another piece of grass. Okay. And so I keep doing that until I get through this whole bowl of chanterelles, and I'll fill my dehydrator. Now I'll have to let you know how long it takes to dehydrate these because I don't remember from the last time. But before I actually post this video, I will have finished these up, and I will put at the bottom of the screen how long it took. So I'm going to keep cleaning and keep putting them onto my, oh, can you see my dehydrator tray? There we go. Onto my dehydrator tray and get them going. And I'll be back with you shortly. fixing a few. And so once I'm finished, I'm going to throw this bag into the refrigerator until the next time I want to fry mushrooms. Now, I probably won't keep it more than a week or two, but there's nothing here that's going to like contaminate this bag of flour and cornmeal, and so I can use it again. I do have my little saucepan back here with, oh, it's probably got about 1.5 inches of oil in it, and it's just vegetable oil. And you could use any kind of oil that you like. Vegetable oil is what I have, so that's what I'm going to use. I do have it turned on medium to start, and then I'm going to give it a few minutes and I'll turn it up a little bit more. I basically want it to be at about 375. Now, I don't have a thermometer to tell me when it's at 375. Oops, there's a mushroom I forgot the other day, I think. Yep, that's what that is. So I'm going to throw that in the garbage bucket. Like I said, this has been in the refrigerator for the last couple of days because I did mushrooms a few days ago. All right, what I like to do is, I've got these clean. I'm going to bring you down a little bit further. There we go. I ran them under some cold water. I scraped off any dirt. I cut off their dirty stems. And what I'm going to do, they're still a little damp. I'm just going to put them in my bag of cornmeal and flour. And like I said, salt and pepper. Close it up. Give them a shake. They're a little bit damp, so they're going to hold on to some of that flour mixture. I need to get a plate real quick. And I like to do this as my oil is heating, and that way they just sit with that coating on for a few minutes, about 5 or 10 minutes while I'm waiting for the oil to heat up. And I think they cook up better when you do that. I could be totally wrong, but that's what I think. All right, let's do a few more. I like these more chunkier, meatier ones for frying. You get a better, to me, you get a better bite. All right, let's do that one. Give it a shake, shake. When my kids were little, that was their job, to do the shaking. They liked that. Okay, all right. That's all I'm going to cook up for right now. It's lunchtime. That's what I'm going to have for lunch. I'm going to close this up and get some of the air out of it and throw this in the refrigerator for the next time that I want to fry mushrooms. Now, I showed you me going through the process of cleaning the mushrooms and putting them into the dehydrator or onto the dehydrator trays. It did take 72 hours. And I had, I think, I don't remember if I had 5 or 7, 5 trays, I think, of mushrooms. Some of them were very large, and this is what I got. This is a half-gallon jar, so a little more than half of a half-gallon jar. And these are nice and crispy. And whenever I want to use mushrooms this winter, I can take however many of these out. I can rehydrate them. I like to use hot water. I think it rehydrates them faster, and I can use them for all kinds of different things. Now, I won't use them for deep frying because going through the dehydrator process does change the constitution of the mushroom, so it's not quite as firm as these when you go through the rehydrating, but they're good for pretty much anything else. So excuse me. I am going to purchase some oxygen absorbers to throw one in here. I'm in mid-Missouri, for those of you that are not local, and it is very humid here. And so I am going to go ahead and do that. I want to put it in with all of my dehydrated herbs as well. And just to help them last longer. So these, they need a label, they need an oxygen absorber, and they need to go on the pantry shelf. Now, I do have this many mushrooms left that I've already cleaned. There is another bucket full in the refrigerator. And so I'm going to go ahead and get them onto onto a dehydrator tray. I don't have any plans of cooking mushrooms tonight, although I could. I might save a few out for supper. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. I'm just keeping an eye on my oil. One way to see if your oil is ready is you can drop a little droplet of water in there, and if it pops, your oil is most likely ready. Sometimes I just take one of my mushrooms that I've already breaded and put that in, and if it's cooking, it's ready. Somebody on YouTube said that if you stick the handle of a wooden spoon or wooden utensil down into the grease, and if it starts bubbling around that handle, then your grease is ready. And I tried that the last time I cooked mushrooms, and it worked. So maybe I'll do that. I changed my mind. I'm not going to have any of these out for supper. So I'm going to go ahead and load these onto the dehydrator tray. And even these tiny, whoops, that one fell through. That's okay. It'll still dehydrate down there. And I do plan on filling the dehydrator with herbs today, and probably celery. And so these can go in with the herbs. All right, I'm going to bring you closer, and we're going to check that oil. All right, come on over here. The canner is making lots of noise. I just turned it off a few minutes ago. It's full of green beans. All right, so I'm going to get one of my wooden spoons with a smaller handle. Here we go. And let's see if it works. Get you down so you can see it. Do I have you there? Okay. It is not, well, it's starting to bubble. Okay, I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. I'm just going to wipe that off. All right, have you tried chanterelles? If you have, let me know how you cook them. Put that down in the comments below. And let me know, do chanterelles grow at your place? Like I said, I'm in mid-Missouri, and they are in the woods, and very easy to see because they're bright orange, which makes it nice for picking. All right, I'm going to check this again. I think it's ready. One of these days I'm going to have one of those digital thermometers that help out in the kitchen, but I don't have one yet. All right, I'm going to bring you down so you can, or at least tilt you down so you can see. Okay, all right, and I'm going to use some tongs. Now they will, ooh, look at that. They will kind of sometimes, oh, what am I trying to say? Oh, sink at first, and then they come back up, but these are floating right away. Okay, one, let me get these in here. And then I'm going to cover with a string. And these only take a few minutes to cook. So we'll give them a couple minutes, we'll pull them out, and it'll be tasty. All right, let's take these out. Look at that. Nice and crispy, nice and brown. I'm going to turn that oil off. Get all these out of there. I do like to rest them on a paper towel, just so that if any of the excess oil can drip off. And I'm actually going to move that off of the heat. Okay. All right, we'll give these another little sprinkle of salt. I'm going to let these cool for just a minute, and then I will give them a try. Let's come over here. right, friends, let's taste one of these mushrooms. Nicely coated. Feels like it's going to be crunchy. Crunchy, salty, and full of flavor. Yum. All right, I'm gonna get these ready for the shelf. I'm gonna finish my lunch and I will bring you back. Let's see, what else am I gonna make? Oh, I know what I want to show you. I made mushroom powder. So there are some big chunks in there that didn't get ground up. But what I did was last summer, I dehydrated a big chicken of the woods mushroom. Huge. And I cleaned it, cut it up, put it in the dehydrator. We ate a lot of it. I still have some of it in a jar on the shelf. And I powdered some of it. So what I did, I put it in my NutriBullet and just powdered it, chopped it until it was powder. And then I can use this when I'm making cream of mushroom soup, or I can add it to meatloaf or meatballs or just anything like that. And it gives a little bit of, I don't want to smell it because it's very powdery and I don't want to inhale that powder, but it gives it a little bit of an earthy, mushroomy flavor without the chunks of mushrooms. I probably will make some more of this because this stuff is so good. I've used it very sparingly, and like I said, there's some big chunks in there that I could go ahead and powder up some more. But another way to use wild mushrooms. All right, put that away. So I'll have to think about what else I was going to show you. Sometimes I just saute these in butter with a little garlic. Sometimes I make a garlic cream sauce and put them in that. I don't know. I'll think about another way to show you how to use chanterelle mushrooms, and I'll be back. Friends, I want to show you how to make the garlic cream sauce that I mentioned just a few seconds ago in the video. We went out and harvested some fresh chanterelle mushrooms. I'm going to take the stems off. I don't really like to eat the stems. I think they're just a little bit too fibrous. But if you like the stems, you go for it. In my saucepan, I have about 1.5 tablespoons of just real butter. I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to cook these mushrooms after I chop them, of course. And just give them a rough chop. If you want them smaller in your finished product, chop them smaller. If you don't want them that small, leave them big. It's your preference. You're the one cooking. You fix it the way you want to. All right, I'm going to throw these in with the butter. There we go. And we're just going to let these brown just a tiny bit, not even a dark brown, just, I don't know, just saute for a few minutes. Now, this garlic cream sauce can be used a lot of different ways. The other night I fixed it and we put it over pork chops, and that was delicious. You could put it over pasta or over rice or over beef, or just eat it the way it is. Dip some crusty bread in it. But lots of different ways it can be used, and lots of different add-ins that you could put in. Okay. All right, we're just going to let that cook for a few minutes, kind of take the raw off of the mushrooms. I am going to be using salt and pepper. I'm going to be using minced garlic. I've got my garlic peeled and ready to go in here. Some chicken broth, heavy cream, a little bit of flour, and provolone cheese. You could use Asiago, you could use Parmesan. The other night I used provolone and Parmesan, but today we're just going to use the provolone. I am going to let that keep cooking for just a couple minutes. Okay, so if you look in on the mushrooms, camera person Riley, okay, you can see that they're kind of wilting a little bit. There's moisture coming out of the mushrooms, and they're almost like limp. Okay, now I'm going to add my garlic. Now, the garlic you can mince like, this way with a contraption, or you could just lay it on your cutting board and chop it. You can buy it in a jar already minced, whatever your preference is. And you don't want to cook your garlic for very long, just until you can smell it. Because if you cook it much longer than that, it'll turn bitter. And kind of keep it moving around so you don't burn the garlic. All right, I smell it. So since I started with 1.5 tablespoons of butter, I'm going to go in with 1.5 tablespoons of flour. A little bit more. Okay. Stir that around and let the flour coat the mushrooms and the garlic. Gets kind of pasty in there. I'm going to switch over to a whisk for this next part, but I'll come back to the spoon. All right, I'm going to add in my chicken broth. This is probably 1.5 cups. If you want to make a bigger batch, start with a bigger dollop of butter, equal parts flour, and a bigger portion of broth. So as I'm whisking, that flour is mixing in, and it's going to start to thicken. And then I will add the heavy cream. I'm going to let that go for a second while I measure my cream. I'm going to go in with equal parts cream.
All right. Yep.
All right, before I put my cream in, I'm going to put in, I don't know, probably 1/2 teaspoon of salt, about the same of pepper. I should do this way. Kind of just drag my fingers through it and fish some out there. You can tell it's starting to get really glossy and a little bit thicker. I'm going to turn my heat up a little bit. Essentially, we want it to boil, but we want it to come to a very slow boil. All right, I'm going to add my cream. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, and this has been simmering for just a few minutes, about maybe 5. I'm going to dip in my spoon, and see how it's dripping a little bit too loosely? It's not quite ready. So you want that to be a slow drip, and then you want to be able to put your finger across the back and it not run back together. So it's still running a little bit. Tastes good though. I did add a little bit more salt. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some cheese. And again, you could use whatever kind of cheese you want. I'm using provolone. That's what I have. And I think it's really good in here. And I'm just going to start tearing up. You could get shredded provolone or get a block and shred it yourself. But I have sliced. That's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to tear it up and drop it in. Okay. We'll give that a minute to melt. And then I'll get a clean spoon, and we'll try that again. See if it's ready. Okay, test it one more time. You can see the drip is a little slower, and it's still running together a little bit there at the end, but the top, it has stayed separated. And so I'm just going to turn this off, and it will actually thicken a little bit as it cools. That's good. All right, guys, I hope you learned something about chanterelles on this video. I hope it wasn't too chopped up here and there for you. Get out in the woods, see what you can find, and if you don't know what you're looking for, consult a book, an expert, or even the internet. I think there's an app that will tell you if it's a safe mushroom or not. And so enjoy, and let's say happy foraging. Bye.